Kia ora everyone. So it's the 1st of July today, which means that yesterday I completed my 6-month Wellbeing Toolkit journey. At New Year's I got inspired to take my regular practices next level and to use the Te Whare Tapawhā model, a Māori model of health, to do this. And part of what I wanted to do was to share my progress at different points in time and the reflections around this, to sort of distill what was going on for myself and summarize it, but also to share it in case there was some of my experience that resonated with anyone else out there and was potentially useful. So I started off with a lot of enthusiasm, and I was tracking very diligently every month, every week, filling out my Wellbeing Toolkit according to the Te Whare Tapawhā model, seeing how I was tracking with it, sensing what practices actually weren't really that useful, sensing which practices were really important. I think I was sharing weekly for quite a while, and then I just got a sense that I didn't need to share weekly, that it would be just as good, if not better and more appropriate, to kind of just share at key points during the journey, and that's what I've done. I'm no longer using like a sort of weekly tracking program to track how my practices are going. If that was online, I probably would, because I am tracking my mood online daily and I find that useful. So if there was an easy way for me to track my the amount of practices that I was doing and when I was doing them each day or each week, that would be great. But because I don't have an easy way to capture that, it didn't feel necessary to do. But I have been watching my practices and seeking to apply my will to do them regularly. So across the 6 months, my practices have definitely strengthened. So the Te Whare Tapawhā model has encouraged me to think about putting daily and weekly regular practices in place to support my physical well-being, te nana, the hinenaro, my mental and emotional well-being, my wairoa, my spiritual well-being, and whānau, my relationships with others. And in January I started off with a whole lot of practices. Like, I showed a friend and I could tell that it was a bit overwhelming for him, seeing how many practices I had that I was going to be doing every week, and like 20 plus. And I was pretty successful in applying all those practices for a couple of months. I've had periods when I've gone down and I still don't quite have the strength to bring my regular practices or to keep them when I really sort of go into a low place, or go into the underworld, or go into the darkness, or whatever metaphor. There's lots of metaphors that I can use that resonate with what happens there, but I still don't quite have that golden string of my practices running through the low and the high side of life, the moon and the sun side. So I think that's part of my challenge for this next phase, which I'm not going to document in another 6-month journey or anything, at least publicly, but for this next phase I will. It feels like keeping the threaded practices through the low and the high, through the light and the dark, is really where it's at for me. I have a feeling if I can do that, I'm actually going to really state change, which is exciting. I was sitting with the concept of state change or overriding states today, and I think that's fantastic. concept, because I see it on a macro level as well, like overriding the current state of play is what we need to do. Yeah, so what else? I've always kind of had had resistance to the phrase discipline. I haven't really liked it. I mean, like, discipline. But really, that's what I need. And I need to be able to apply my own self-discipline to care for myself. I'm really disciplined when I have to do stuff for others and when I feel that responsibility to do stuff for others. But when it comes to myself, I'm not great at all. However, I just got to turn that around, because when I'm applying these practices, when I'm being disciplined in the application of these practices that I know and love and that bring me home to myself, then that's the ultimate expression of self-care that I can really do. So I've got to keep bedding that in. These practices really do help me to come home. It's quite nicely articulated in the Te Whare Tapa model as well, because these 4 pillars of health create the whare, which is the home, the house, the marae, the place. Those 4 foundations for my well-being, my health, my physical health, my mental and emotional health, my spiritual health, and the health of my relationships, they create my home space. And the stronger they get, the stronger my foundations are, the stronger my sense of being home in this world is. And it enables me to come from a place of gentle power, a good source of power, which enables me to achieve what I have the capacity to vision and express the whole of me and all the colour that's within my form. So that's kind of it, really. It's been great. If anyone is interested in understanding more about, the framework I used or anything, just let me know. So I think that's it. Just looking at this little bit of garlic, which was Graham Rabbit's garlic, and I kept it on my altar so that I could put it in the ground around winter solstice time. So I'm going to do that probably this evening underneath the moon. And Graham Rabbit's died. He died about four months ago, and he was such a beautiful young man who knew what it was to experience depression quite deeply, but he was finding his way through that and finding a way to live an incredibly meaningful, beautiful life. And then he was no longer here with us. He was involved in a workplace accident and left us. And there's another beautiful man who I keep thinking about, who also has just left us. In similar instances, they're not choosing to leave, but life just takes them when they're pretty much in their prime and have so much to offer. And I think the key message around that for me at this point in time is like, I am in this life and it's precious and it's incredibly beautiful if I can create a good state to witness and experience it from. And that's what my practices give me, is they give me the foundations that I can choose my state, or I can at least choose how to be and respond to my state. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And they bring me home. So, kia ora my friends, thanks for tuning in with me, and I wish you all very well at this darkest point of the year and the Māori New Year. So in my view, that's the new year for Aotearoa, and it's a pleasure to be sharing this with you at this point in time. Kia ora.